Our next guest, I told you a bit about Robert O'Neill already. He's also the author of the New York Times and London Times best-selling memoir, The Operator, Firing the Shots That Killed Osama bin Laden and My Years as a SEAL Team Warrior. Netflix is going to premiere on the 14th, American Manhunt, Osama bin Laden, a gripping three-part docuseries. It's an in-depth series exploring how the world mobilized to track down Osama bin Laden following his orchestration of the September 11th events and the attacks on the United States. Robert O'Neill joins us this morning. He plays such a big role in that story. It's great to have you on. Good morning to you. How you doing on this Sunday?
Good morning. It's a great day. I sound a little hoarse. I got over some weird cold going around the country. So everybody, keep up on your meds and stay hydrated.
Yeah, it's there's something kind of going around, and I just feel like we all getting a little bit of the sniffles and this kind of this frog in our throat thing. I ended up getting a little bit of it in the last break around. Let's kind of just dive in here. You haven't seen the series yet either, which is exciting. You've made the choice to kind of let it unfold in front of you. Are you excited about it coming out?
Oh yeah, I can't wait to see the docuseries. Obviously, Netflix is the best there is. They're going to make a great show, and this one's unique because they have a lot of the targeters, a lot of the three-letter agency people that found Osama bin Laden, or as I like to say it, the smart people. And they're going to tell their story for the first time. There's a lot of great people in it, but I haven't seen it, so I can only assume how it goes. I know my part. I know what I said, and it's exciting. It's a great, very professional setup, and they're going to go from soup to nuts to say how from they first found Osama bin Laden up to the point that I went into his bedroom, and then what happened afterwards. So it's going to be a great show. I'm pumped to see it. Like, we were going to release it a month ago, but now we're waiting again. So I'm like, I've been on the edge of my seat for a while.
So you talk about the idea of the smart people, but I want to kind of point out something here too, and then we'll get into your origin story as well. In order for the smart people's plans to work, the people who actually have to do the smart people's plans have to have a buy-in level, which means they have to understand your capabilities and they have to understand that your ability to do a buy-in to that. Can you talk about what it's like to work with the smart people, as you call them? Because you guys tend to be pretty smart yourself, and to listen to what they have to say and to be able to kind of not collaborate, because you do what you're told to some degree, but once you get there in regards to tactical realities, you've got to be able to say, wait a minute, I'm happy to help you out here, but there's things that you haven't thought about. Is that part of the process?
Yeah, the people that found bin Laden, the analysts and the targeters, they don't have anything to do with the tactical stuff going on the ground. That's where we come in.
Right.
And they were really good about not trying to tell us what they think is there. They will say, here's what I know. And that would be something like, instead of there's 5 men, 10 women, and 20 kids, they will say there's this many people. And then we'd say that's good because I'll figure it out when I get there. They will say where they think somebody is, and we will go check it out. And basically, the kind of the agreement is we'll go in, find out if someone's there, and we'll come back and show something to you or not. We'll tell you what happened. But as far as the tactical stuff goes, they gave that to us on the ground. And so we're able to do that. And fortunately for us, it was 2011 when we went into Abbottabad, Pakistan. So we've been fighting since basically September 12th, 2001. And so we've seen pretty much everything. We've been in compounds. We've been in combat, and everyone they picked, the 23 guys on the ground for this mission, were the most qualified, most experienced people available at the time. So it wasn't a matter of the tactics that going in. It was just that the perfect plan we came up with never came to fruition, because the worst thing imaginable, crashing a helicopter in the front yard, is what happened right off the bat. But because of our experience, we were able to take something potentially catastrophic and turn it into something great. And that wasn't because of our plan. It was because of the preparation, the years and years of preparation to get there took over.
Well, in a lot of ways, the crashing of the helicopter, it was Mike Tyson's famous adage of being punched in the mouth. I mean, that's the moment. He says everybody's got a plan until you get punched in the mouth, and it's what you do afterward that makes all the difference. The other thing is, you and I were talking about this over the break before we came in, that Bosnia is not the same as Afghanistan, is not the same as Iraq, is not the same as Iran, is not the same as Syria. And in many ways, because of your 12 years in country and in a lot of different countries, that you had a better sense when you actually got to the appointment in Abbottabad, that you actually had a sense of the kind of human beings who would be not just in the compound, but people always forget there are people down the road and there are other players in this game that you have to be culturally aware of and how they will react and how they will come in, correct?
That's very correct, too, and that's the landscape and the culture. Because you mentioned Bosnia, yes, you're dealing with Al-Qaeda there. And Iraq, yes, you're going to deal with Al-Qaeda. Same with some Al-Qaeda in Afghanistan. But when you go further east, like into Afghanistan, Pakistan, even Al-Qaeda becomes foreigners. So they're even foreigners to like the Pashtun people in Afghanistan. And you got to be like, one of the things to realize in combat, the majority of people everywhere are just trying to live their lives, and they're not all bad guys with suicide vests on. So you will run into some of the bad players, and when you run into them, regardless, you need to deal with them the same way. But cultural sensitivity is very important because regardless of your intentions, if you spend enough time somewhere, you're an occupier. And sometimes where we as a country run into a problem is our senior leadership doesn't see that. They just think everything should be one way because, they haven't. A lot of people making decisions haven't been carrying their luggage for a decade. Like they have yes men all around them. I've seen people before where they switched a unit from going to Iraq to Afghanistan, and when they were getting briefed, it said something about Iraq, and someone in the audience said, "Well, sir, we're not going to Iraq anymore. We're going to Afghanistan." And the boss said, "Iraq, Afghanistan, what's the difference?" And that's a huge difference, and that's a major mistake, and that's how you get bogged down into nation-building crap. But everything's different. I mean, Albania is different than Bosnia, different than Kosovo, and then you get into places like Iran or East or all of Iraq now, and it's important to understand the difference between Sunni and Shia. Because again, something else. Just because they're Muslims doesn't mean they like each other. So it's complex, and this part of the world is thousands of years older than we are over here. So it's very important to it's not just showing up and pulling a trigger. You really need to know where you are because it could turn bad real fast.
Yeah, my father one time, you'll love this. Somebody said, at the end somebody made a comment that they're all Muslims, and my father laughed and he said, yes, and of course in the 1950s, all Catholics and Baptists were the exact same people.
Exactly.
I mean, and that's kind of the way to kind of understand it. I mean, at the core of it, what Robert's talking about here is the fact that you're talking about people who have a very different concept of who the Messiah is, and I don't know,
yes.
Those two different cultures, those two different religions have a different concept of the Messiah. That tends to make for some really ugly arguments and some really nasty scenes in the Persian Gulf as well, doesn't it?
Oh, it totally does too, and even the understanding of why certain people hate us and why we hate them, and there's some major differences there too. But like a prime example of not everyone's a combatant. Like in the Abbottabad, Pakistan thing, when we went after bin Laden, one of our concerns was the first responders are not going to be Al Qaeda or military; it's going to be local police. And I don't want to go into Pakistan and kill local policemen because they're just doing their job. They don't know we're coming. And you really got to know your environment. You got to be very, you got to be selective with what you do. And that's why you get to a certain level like SEAL Team 6, where when we get latitude to do everything, we're not going to kill the wrong person because we don't want to, because we're very precise. I mean, even when I hear someone say 2 to the chest, 1 to the head, that's nonsense. It's 2 to the head every time. And that's how that's how the precision gets in there. So that just like even going back to the they're Muslims or they're Christians, it's all the same. It's so beyond being the same. But now comes in, instead of like today, if you disagree with someone, instead of listening to them, we just shout them down. That's what happens, and that can happen if you ever want lasting peace. Now, the people in Washington D.C. that make money off all this, they don't really care if we kill each other. But when I mentioned the smart people, the smart people aren't the ones in charge.
Yeah, and sometimes we often kind of get on the smart people's cases about stuff, but sometimes the smart people get overruled by people who are above them who aren't as smart. Just to kind of put one more piece of perspective in here, just the way I kind of also explain this by killing the wrong person. Imagine going into an American county and killing the popular re-elected sheriff of that county by accident, and what it would do in regards to community relations. Robert J. O'Neill joins us this morning. Robert, I have to take the strangest of quick breaks here, just to do a timestamp. We're going to play a little music. I'll come back to the timestamp, and then we'll kind of shift over to your personal story from 2 to 4, and then finally into 6. Dre, break us away here real quick.
Hey, Babaloo, SEAL Team, baby.
Hey, Babaloo, SEAL Team, baby.
Joined up for this now, people think I'm crazy.
I joined up for this now, people think I'm crazy.
Came here to be one frogman stud.
I came here to be one frogman stud.
Now all I'm doing is dropping
I never know what he's going to pick, no matter what time it is, even at 9:16 in the morning. By the way, this timestamp is brought to you by the Multi-Service Fuel Card. They've been doing the gig since 1978. Over-the-road trucking companies trust them to provide quality customer service, lines of credit of generosity, and a nationwide network of fuel-saving truck stop locations. Go to neverrollalone.com. Robert O'Neill joins us again. It's good to have you back. Let's talk about you a little bit, because I think a lot of people who have not read your book yet don't know your story. Let's even go back before you get to SEAL Team 2. Tell us about your growing up and your desire to serve and what brought you to this place in your life.
Well, there was no desire to serve. There was a desire to play basketball in college, which I did for a year. And my point is, though, if you want to make God laugh, tell him your plan for life, and he's going to laugh because it's totally different. I was going to do that, get my MBA, be a stockbroker. There's my plan. Had a shitty relationship, time to leave town, and I went to join the Marine Corps because that's the quickest way out of Butte, Montana, and I knew some Marines. As luck would have it, the Marine recruiter was not in the office. The Navy guy was. It's that simple. I asked the Navy guy, where's the Marine? He said, why do you want the Marine? I said, I want to be a sniper. He said, look no further. We have snipers in the Navy, so I signed. I didn't know how to swim, but I went to SEAL training in California, and hearing that cadence recently just kind of reminded me of what that was like. Best time of my life, pre-9/11, living in San Diego. I didn't think I'd make it through, but one meal at a time I managed to, just because they didn't ask me to do anything impossible, just a lot of hard stuff over and over. And I made it through SEAL training in 1996 and was sent out to SEAL Team 2 in Virginia Beach and trained out there, deployed a couple times. We did get, like I said earlier, some different places, but there was no war. I was in Kosovo doing sniper stuff, and that not even that cool, just looking at things. And then 9/11 happened. I was back at a unit in Germany, and that's when everything changed, and that's when I decided I needed to go to SEAL Team 6. From that point, though, it would take me a number of years because it's difficult to get into SEAL Team 6. I want to get into it, but it takes a while to get there. And so I did one more deployment with SEAL Team 4. We thought we were going to invade Iraq, but then something happened in Liberia. We had to swim into Liberia to try to evacuate Americans from the embassy because of a civil war. That's an entirely different conversation that's hilarious, but a different war while they invaded Iraq. I went to selection to SEAL Team 6, and then I got my first deployment to Afghanistan with them, and that happened to be in 2005, and that's when I was involved with the rescue of the lone survivor, Marcus Luttrell, for Operation Red Wings. I was on the mountain, obviously not in the helicopter that got shot down, but we were able to get him out. And then we just started doing stuff, Iraq, Afghanistan. On my birthday, Good Friday, April 10th, 2009, I was with my daughter at her Easter tea party or preschool. That's my birthday. And we got a call that someone had been taken. So 15 hours and 46 minutes after that, we were in the Indian Ocean. I was the lead jumper. And on Easter Sunday, we rescued Captain Richard Phillips from Somali pirates because of our snipers. More deployments, Iraq, Afghanistan. And one day, in early 2011, we just finished, I think, my 13th deployment. They called us into a room and said, the reason you're here, it's not a drill. We found a thing. This thing is in a house, in a bowl, in a country. You're going to go get this thing and bring it back to us. And we said, all right, what's the thing? Can't tell you. Okay, what's the country? Can't tell you. How we get in there? Can't tell you. Okay. And we started getting our gear together because we're only bringing 23 SEALs. They brought us then to another room, and that's from the woman who I'm assuming is in this upcoming Netflix documentary. She and the commanding officer of SEAL Team 6 came to the group and said, the reason you guys are here is this is as close as we've ever been to Osama bin Laden. And that's the first time we heard his name like that. And there was no high fives. It was just, cool, we going now? And then they gave us about 2 weeks to prep, even though we didn't need it. But the powers that be wanted to see us because we were one of 5 options. And even President Obama said afterwards, I never was convinced that bin Laden was there. But after seeing you guys, I was convinced you could go in and find out and come back safely. And that's basically a very short version of what I did in the military. There's 400 combat missions in there as well.
And let me ask you, and this is a genuine question, Robert, not one that I have an answer for. Was the expectation that putting you guys in there as opposed to the other options would be the one that would be least disastrous if there was no target there? Was that the thinking behind it? Because the idea of dropping a bomb on some place with 20 people in it and having those people not be what you're looking for would be a disaster. Was that the idea behind it, or was it the certainty that whatever you guys did, you would be able to report back and give genuine intel?
Well, the Air Force was given they were told what was the situation, and their solution wasn't a bomb; it was 22 bombs. And the problem with that is you're going to wipe out basically the entire village, and you're never going to know if he was there for certain. There's no DNA because that's a huge, 22 JDAM's a big explosion. And then just being able to go in there, put boots on the ground. Yeah, that was the cleanest option. Plus, if he is there, we're going to bring him out. And you're sending SEAL Team 6, so like it or not, we're going to kill him. But we'll bring him back to you.
So RobertJO'Neill.com is where you should go to find out more about Robert. He's also going to be one of the featured aspects of American Manhunt, Osama bin Laden, the docuseries on Netflix. And by the way, it's my show, so I get to ask you all the fun questions a lot of my listeners out there want to know. Can you talk about the Captain Phillips situation a little bit? Are you able to talk about the intel you received and your understanding of if there would be opportunities for extraction? When did you guys get involved exactly on that?
We got involved. I think it was at the beginning of a week in April. We knew he'd been taken. We knew the situation. And about the middle of the week, we were starting to get spun up, and then we got sent. But the flight over, this 16-hour flight over, no one had ever planned for a lifeboat being towed by a Navy destroyer, and that's exactly what we had. So we had to come up with a plan to do it. And believe it or not, no one had ever attempted a rescue like that at sea. So everyone involved had to come up with a plan. And we did, and we staged on a couple different boats after the jump. And we simply put snipers out there to watch them, to make sure nothing unsafe happened as we were preparing for either a negotiation or a rescue. And as we were preparing, the snipers were out there. Something very unsafe happened, and they took their shots. And that was really impressive because that's a no-fail mission right there. If you try to there's 3 guys in a lifeboat. If you miss one of them, they're going to kill the hostage. So I wasn't one of the snipers that took the shots there. I obviously know who they are. But very impressive shots. You're out in the middle of the ocean. Both boats are rocking, and you've got a window of about 6 inches to make 3 shots. So, there was no countdown like in the movie. There was no 3, 2, 1. There was basically, hey, stand by, and if one shot, the other 2 are going to shoot, and that's what happened.
So basically, it's almost like the line Scotty in the remake of Star Wars. The idea of Star Trek, you're basically having to hit a moving object while moving yourself, and everything keeps changing every second because of the constant motion of the water. Is that essentially what you're saying? And do it at the same time with 3 people, right?
And also you got to figure Friday. It was a long weekend for Easter, and this is going to be what we call a cold bore shot. So. Are your guns sighted in for the most difficult shot of your life right now? Because they better be.
Yeah, and I'm also kind of curious how much. And this is a human question. So you're going to go get Captain Phillips. Do they kind of compartmentalize you away from knowing who he is as a person, or is there an attempt to kind of really make him human for you guys to understand who it is you're rescuing? And do you understand that question?
Oh yeah, that's never a problem. We understand exactly what we're getting into. We understand exactly the amount of assets the government spent, what the United States will spend. If bad guys grab our guys, we will come and get them. And it's we know everything about him, but it didn't matter at that point. We know what we're there to do, and there's some point when bad guys make a decision, the last people they run into are my friends and me.
Well, and the other thing I really like about that, too, is because, we watch a lot of movies about hitmen, about these impersonal hitmen that go around kind of taking out assets for people, and they're not giving any other information than this is the target. And I think what really separates you guys is the human factor, that you understand the humanity that is involved in a lot of the people that you're going to rescue. You understand the humanity that is involved in what the people you're going to get have done. And so what they're betting on is they're betting on your inherent decency to allow you to make decisions about, as we said before, not taking out civilians, making a decision not to go after people who are just collateral and might be in the wrong place at the wrong time. Look, stuff happens, but you guys tend to be incredibly informed in regard to intel, so you don't make decisions that make the job into a tragedy. That's an assessment, correct?
Well, I mean, the way that to put it is we're the good guys, and we're not there to murder people. Definitely don't give us a reason, but if you're standing somewhere still with your hands up, you're not going to get hurt. But if you do grab an American, the chances just increase. And especially with like a guy like bin Laden. Bin Laden had less than half a second to convince me not to kill him, and he didn't do it.
Yeah, and that plays a large part. And I was also curious because the helicopter going down in that moment, how much tactical ability do you have to say, we can't do it, we're done, we got to get out of here?
No. Well, my helicopter we didn't even know they crashed till we got inside.
Right.
But just on training, like, keep it simple. Don't talk yourself into a butt kicking. Master the basics. And you got to realize in life, sometimes it doesn't matter why I'm here right now. I just am. I don't need to blame anybody. I'm just right here. And what we all have in common is the clock is ticking. What are you going to do about it? It's that simple. Like, okay, well, we planned this. That didn't happen, so we're here. It's like when I talk to football teams. Guys, it doesn't matter why it's 2nd and 15. It just is.
We got to get back on schedule. That's the thing, isn't it? It really is
Yeah.
where. And I don't think a lot of people.
That's for everybody. That's for everybody in life.
Yeah, and I agree with that. By the way,
there's going to be contingencies.
Yeah,
there's going to be contingencies.
Yeah, I mean that's a big thing, isn't it? I mean, it really is about. It's about mastering time. So much of this is about understanding and have a really good internal clock about this as well. Has that changed for you over the course of the 20+ years? I mean, has that become a thing where the clock has become either the enemy or your friend, right?
Yeah. Well, it is your friend, but it's not going to stop, and you're not going to talk it out of anything. So, it is plan for the future. Plan for the future, but definitely enjoy the moment. Like I was just before this call playing with my 1-year-old daughter, and I'm never going to get this time back, so I'm going to enjoy every moment of it. With your job's important. You got to pay the bills. Family's the most important. It's the sun's going to go down tonight, going to come up tomorrow. So every day you wake up and your feet hit the ground and your name's not in the obituaries, it's a good day.
Let me ask you, speaking of days, and we've really appreciated the valuable time you've given us this morning. What are you doing with the rest of your day, Robert?
You know what I do a lot is a lot of research because I do my podcast, The Operator, and you can find that on my website, robertjoneal.com. And that's something where I just have fun. I don't call myself the operator. I'm giving my opinion as a former operator. But everybody out there that's working right now is an operator. And what I'm saying is I'll give you my opinion as an operator, and I want to hear yours back. And unlike a lot of people, if I'm wrong and you point it out, I'll admit it. So I have fun with that. I do the podcast. I have interviews. I talk about my opinions on stuff. And that's pretty much what I do. That and at my website also personalized and signed books. And those are fun because it's I'll basically personalize anything you want, so be funny. My favorite one, I got one the other day, a guy that bought one for his buddy that said, I had a sign, Jeff, you kill it selling mattresses like I killed bin Laden, love Rob.
Good for Jeff, by the way. Good for
right,
Jeff.
Yeah, I know, right? That's so funny.
Good for him. He's probably cleaning up someplace. Where was he from, by the way? Do you know?
I don't even remember. I just remember signing that. I wish I would have taken a picture of it. It's so funny.
Killing with those sales out in Peoria. It's Jeff. Robert J. O'Neill has joined us.
I love that.
Yeah, Robert J. O'Neill has joined us, by the way. You can go to robertjoneal.com. That's 2 L's in case you guys weren't aware of such things. The American Manhunt, Osama bin Laden docuseries is going to be on Netflix. When you watch it, if you watch it that first day, you'll be watching it at the same time Robert watches it for the first time. I'm excited for you, man. Do me a favor. Anytime you want to come back and talk to our friends on the road, we would love to have you. Hope you have the best of Sundays, okay, my friend?
Let's do that. I'll set up an interview for the week that we do the docuseries. We'll talk about it.
It's fantastic. I will get that set up. Claire is listening, so she can take care of it. Thank you, Rob.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate your time.
You got it, man. Hey, guys, we'll be back on the other side. Give us a call, 615-292-6366. That's a righteous dude. We'll be right back.